I'm SP from Better Podcasting, the show dedicated to help make your podcast better. And it is part of the Get a Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other insightful and wonderful geeky shows at GetAGeekNetwork.com.
It's cool, it's nothing, 2 seconds.
Hey, matey, this is uncharacteristic behavior for you, Miss Ice Water in her veins, super chill.
You pushed me too far, Lenny. You made me lose it in front of a client. I could get fired.
Are we still friends?
I don't know, Lenny. You see, friendship is more than one person constantly doing favors for another.
I know that.
I don't hustle my friends.
Hey, what
but
is
you
it?
just suck people along with your schemes, your scams, and your slick act.
We're still buddies, aren't we?
Don't just be using the time that I'm talking to be thinking about what you gonna say next. You listening?
Yeah.
Lenny, your ass is always broke. You go from one score to the next and you're getting strung out. You don't even see it. It's your brain, so you do whatever the hell you want with it. But not on my watch, you understand me? I got a child, I got rent, and I got an ex-husband doing hard time who doesn't send me a dime of support. I'm just trying to hold on here.
I know you wouldn't be saying all this if you didn't care about me. Thanks, Mace, really.
You're getting out with Famitsu, and that's the end.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smoking and Drinking in Space. This is a sci-fi podcast from a couple guys who think they know sci-fi. And this week, we discuss the cyberpunk film that literally parties like it's 1999, starring Ray Fiennes, Angela Bassett, Juliette Lewis, and Tom Sizemore. It's 1995's Strange Days. But first, he's the low-rent editor who promises recordings instead of candy to get you into his van. It's Rob. How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing all right. It's not Ray Fiennes.
It is Ray Fiennes.
No, it's Ralph.
No,
Fiennes.
it's Ray Fiennes. It's pronounced Ray Fiennes.
Really?
Yes, his first name is pronounced Rafe.
Rafe. Oh, okay, so it sounded like you were saying Ray.
No, Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe Fiennes. Okay. Well, then, I do have a question. And before we get started, so when did you watch this? Today?
Which time? The most recent one was today, yes.
Was today. Yeah. So you didn't do it early like you threatened to do on Discord.
Nope, I sure didn't.
You sure didn't. Yeah. I thought I was pretty safe in assuming that wouldn't happen.
Oh, were you?
I know you a little too well, I guess. You know?
Really? Well, next time. Yeah, next time it's just going to happen. Or is it?
Well, I would hope it would, because next time I know what we're watching, and I know that you can't hold off on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I don't think you're gonna wait, because I know normally, because spoiler, we're not recording on our normal day for this one. This is normally the day that you reserve to watch the show that we do for Static. Right. And you have nothing to do to prep for that one other than go and find news.
True.
So you just do it right before it's time to go.
Sometimes I do it a little early.
A little earlier in the day?
Or earlier in the week, yeah, if I think about
earlier. It. Okay. That's not very often. I mean, there's a lot of times when you're like, oh, yeah, I need to watch. And then I get a text, hey, I'm going to be about 10, 15 minutes late. Oh, movie ran longer than you expected?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You got any news for us this week?
I do. I came prepared.
Well,
and
what do you got?
You'd be happy to know that a lot of this is science/sci-fi based.
Unpossible,
but is so possible. So the first one, this was published from Science Alert on February 10th, 2023. There is a galaxy out there. The galaxy's name is Fast.
Oh, I was going to guess Ted, but
Yeah, no. Fast J0139 plus 4328.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
Now, did they change their name to that after, they later on in their life, or is that what's on their birth certificate?
I think that's what's on their birth certificate, but they do go by Ted.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so there is typically a galaxy is normally a big, black hole at the center. With a bunch of stars and gas and dark matter that helps glue everything together and make...
You were just talking about your Taco Bell exploit from last night.
Well, yes, I am, but it also equates to, how a galaxy typically looks. Well, Ted is not your typical galaxy. He was recently discovered. It is a dwarf galaxy located just a mere 94 million light years away.
Oh, is that it?
Just a mere 94 million.
Shit, that's close enough. It should start being charged rent.
Well, we're neighbors, right? Anyway, apparently there's no light emitting from this particular galaxy. In fact, there's no optical light and barely any light at all. So maybe like ultraviolet and all that kind of stuff. The can't see light.
Right.
Barely emitting any light at all from this particular galaxy. So it is known. Apparently, it is known as a dark galaxy, and it's made mostly of dark matter.
Really?
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
Huh. And how did they determine that this was made mostly from dark matter? Just because of maybe what they're calculating as the mass of the galaxy and the fact that it's not emitting any kind of other electromagnetic energy?
So they're assuming it looks like the scientists or the astronomers that are looking at this, they assume or they hypothesize that it is made up mostly of dark matter. That is really the only explanation for the weird discrepancy between the normal, between the amount of normal or baryonic matter that is observed, and the strength of the gravity required to hold it all together. Apparently,
okay.
So they're using some newfangled math.
Newfangled math?
Sure, why not? They're using.
I don't think that's how that works.
Okay, well, they're using some fancy math that I don't know about to
like
determine
addition?
all this stuff. I'm okay with addition. It's the subtraction that gets me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and apparently the reason why it's called fast is because the astronomers in China used the 500 meter aperture spherical radio telescope to find this particular galaxy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
Well, on February 9th, this was reported that our sun broke.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. A piece of sun broke off and has stunned scientists.
I told you to stop getting articles from The Onion.
Well, this wasn't on The Onion. Scientists were left baffled after material broke off of the sun's surface and created a tornado-like swirl around its northern pole. This remarkable phenomenon was caught by NASA on the James Webb Space Telescope and was tweeted by a space weather forecaster. the space weather forecaster tweeted, "Talk about polar vortex. Material from a northern prominence just broke away from the main filament and is now circulating in a massive polar vortex around the North Pole of our star. Implications for understanding the sun's atmospheric dynamics above 55 degrees here cannot be overstated."
Okay, wait a second. They have the James Webb Telescope pointed at the sun?
I guess. I didn't think they did. I thought it was
I thought it was pointed outward.
Outward, yeah. So I'm not sure. Maybe
Do they have some like inward facing equipment that actually looks at the sun?
Maybe.
SP?
I don't know. SP, can you tell us? You know, they're doing live chat on Better Podcasting right now. We could try to Shanghai their podcast.
No, we're not going to Shanghai their podcast right now.
Oh, man. Like, get in there on their live chat. Hey, SP, I need you to jump into Discord real fast. Please. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, no. So, unusual activity typically occurs at the sun's 55-degree latitudes once every 11 year solar cycles. Mm-hmm. But this apparently is outside of their normal solar cycle, so it's kind of throwing them into a little bit of a tizzy. So yeah, but what caught my eye was the whole, a piece of sun broke off. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that sounds dumb.
It does. It does. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. But a piece broke off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
All right. So this is a two-parter. I don't know why, but it's a two-parter. So on sci-fi.com.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, this is weird. Apparently, Jupiter is having babies.
What?
Yeah. So astronomers have just announced there are 12 more previously undiscovered moons around Jupiter. So
they're moons that are small enough that our equipment up until now hasn't been able to detect them?
Apparently, or it has just recently grabbed asteroids and whatnot.
Or
and
that.
Now has more moons. So which one was it originally? I think, hold on there. All right. So originally, or here for a while, Jupiter's moon count has been sitting at 80, and Saturn has been sitting at 83 moons. And here, just a couple years of hard work by an international group of astronomers have located a few more moons, 12 more, and we can jump Jupiter's moon count up to 92. They hid from view for so long because they are comparatively small, and most of them are pretty far away from the planet. They range in size from 0.6 to 2 miles in diameter.
And they're calling those moons?
Apparently, because I guess to be a moon, you just have to circle the planetary body. And they were discovered using telescopes in Hawaii and Chile between the years 2021 and 2022.
Well, I mean, but we have a bunch of space junk and shit that circles our planet. Those aren't moons.
They're man-made moons, I guess. After the discovery, the astronomers needed to do some additional observations until they completed a full orbit to make sure that they were actually moons and not just something passing by. While these moons orbit in the same direction as the rest of the Jovian system, 9 of the 12 have retrograde orbits, meaning that they move in the opposite direction of everything else. So it suggests that they might have formed somewhere else in the solar system and been captured.
Yeah, I figured that's probably the case. Jupiter's a big fucking planet.
Yeah, Jupiter's just having babies. So, and I said that this was a two-part news article.
Yeah.
Because the first paragraph on this says, "Hey, check out the Ark. It's the latest science fiction adventure from Dean Devlin. It streams on Peacock. It started in the February 1st. So it is. They joined the crew. The crew of Ark 1 is on their way to a distant planetary colony around another star. The human crew and passengers are stored in stasis pods, sleeping soundly when the ship suffers an impact in deep space. The ensuing damages wake up some of the passengers, but it also knocks loose one of the bays, cutting the remaining passengers off from anyone who knew how to run the ship."
So, wait a second. Something hits this ship, and the only people that know how to run the ship are actually broken off from the ship and not awake. And the people that did wake up have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a shit show.
Yeah, so they've made it a good distance, but they have a year left in their journey and only enough provisions for a few weeks. So the question is, what are they going to do about it? We must watch. Me? Cannibalism.
Yeah, I was about to say, how many of them are there?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's the...
Who's going to draw the short straw?
Yeah, I don't know if this is like a mini series that is, kind of a one season type of deal, but yeah, it sounds kind of intriguing, but it was in the same article about the moons, which I thought was weird. Leave that to sci-fi for you, I guess.
Advertising is weird to you?
Well, no, it's just it's weird that was in the first. Let's see, that was the first paragraph. The second paragraph is like, "Hey, we tip our hats to the intrepid explorers willing to brace the trials of deep space." It's like, well, it's a show, fuckers. Speaking of deep space, Jupiter has more moons now. What the? Okay,
jeez,
that's a segue.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
All right,
because the title talks about the moons, and then the picture is a screen capture from the Ark, and so it completely confused me until I read it.
Isn't really hard to do, but yeah, that is kind of confusing.
Yeah, because So yeah, that's that.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's ready for a pod crawl?
Sure.
All right, let's do this.
We can call it, I don't know, say a pod crawl? The pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Excellent! Insert it deep! Pod crawl! Kind of like a space suppository full of information.
It's 1999, and Los Angeles is yet again pictured as a chaotic war zone of a city. 3 of the dumbest criminals in history decide to rob a Chinese restaurant and record the event for posterity, or for evidence, one of the two. It ends up with the documentarian falling to his death since he doesn't know how to take a running jump, and Lenny is none too pleased because he doesn't like snuff films. That's right, Lenny was reliving the recording made from the dumbass criminal's brain beams. In this 1999, you can record yourself like you have a GoPro taped to your forehead, and anyone else can play it back as if they were living it through your experience. However, this technology is black market since the government doesn't allow fun, so Lenny sells these experiences to the masses. But Lenny doesn't deal in snuff, so he passes on Grand Theft Dumbass. Later, after a deal gets blown by his best friend Max, who fancies himself a private dick, he gets a visit from Iris, one of his experience creators. She tells him that she is in trouble and has something in his car he needs to see. But when a cop car comes cruising up the road, she vanishes like a thought. Unfortunately, Lenny can't investigate further since his car gets towed. He calls up his other friend Mace, he only has 2, and she comes to pick him up so he can try and get her fired. She takes him to a nightclub where his ex is about to sing a light-hearted melody about dumping someone and gets thrown out twice, the second time accompanied by a beating. Mace starts to drive him home to sleep off his concussion, but he decides to watch a disc left for him at the club, and it turns out to be a recording on Iris's brutal murder. They rush to the hotel where she was killed to find her being carted off to the morgue. They take it to his blood-sucking editor to see if he can figure out who made the recording, but that turns out to be a dead end. Lenny remembers that Iris had something for him to watch, so they raid the impound lot where his towed car is and find another disc. Lenny watches an activist and rapper get executed by the police during a traffic stop that Iris was a part of as she runs off. Lenny calls in Max to work his connections in the police department to find out more information, and he goes home to take a nap. The next morning, he gets another disc delivered to him of the creeper that killed Iris, watching him sleep and showing him where he missed a spot shaving. So he grabs Mace and her son and they head over to her brother's house, where Mace also watches the recording, a first time for her. They follow their tails for a little while more, find out that Lenny's ex knew about the recording and was trying to keep Lenny out of it, and they try and drag her to hide her away, but her new domineering boyfriend doesn't want to be dateless on New Year's Eve. Later, they attend the party of the century where Lenny goes to rescue Faith again, and Mace shows the deputy commissioner the execution recording. Lenny reaches Faith's suite/prison where he finds yet another recording, this one mimicking the murder of Iris, only with Faith as the victim. But it turns out it was all a setup by Max. He was the one who killed Iris, because Faith's boyfriend wanted both her and Faith dead. But the boyfriend didn't realize that Max was already boning Faith, so he cooked up this elaborate plan to frame his best friend for 3 different murders to cover his tracks. Lenny and Max fight. Mace confronts the 2 cops who starred in the execution recording, and Lenny finally gets over Faith by reciprocating Mace's feelings on a magical New Year's morning. Credits.
All right, 1995's Strange Days. So, what'd you think?
Why is LA always on fire in sci-fi movies?
I don't know. I guess everybody just expects LA to kind of devolve down to the basest of human emotion.
It's either LA or New York. That seems to always be like in chaos.
I mean, really, even it's more LA than New York if you think about it. I mean, I'm trying to think. I can think of probably 3 or 4 movies just right off the top of my head that have LA and some sort of, near-term future apocalyptic state. And New York doesn't really fall into that. Now, New York is often portrayed as being totally abandoned and nature basically reclaims it in some form or fashion.
Right, because it's the most easiest to recognize, that or like Paris, because you get the Eiffel Tower or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, that's the easiest to recognize skyline. Or it ends up turning into like the capital of whatever new government is out there.
Right.
So like the Expanse in New York was the capital of the Earth or UN or.
Oh yeah. That's where the UN was located. Yeah.
Right. And apparently UN took over everything. But I've never seen this until now. I do have to say, it knew how to hook me in.
Yeah, quickly. I bet it did.
There was some boobies all over the place.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, that was a bonus. Overall, I don't know what New Year's had to do with anything. But it
was the whole millennial fervor around the time.
Yeah, but they sure did like play it up pretty heavy, and that it was supposed to be a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal.
Well,
for the plot of the movie.
No, it wasn't. But I think the transition from 1999 to 2000 in the movie was sort of an analogy to the transition of Lenny letting go of Faith and embracing Mace, right? So
yeah.
You're letting go of the old century, you're embracing the new century. It's kind of analogous to Lenny's journey.
Yeah, okay. But it was still, I was waiting for the times that showed up on the screen to mean something. And they never did. Well, because they kept showing like the current time.
Yeah, they were showing,
right.
Yeah, so they could keep you kind of informed as to how much time has passed. Because they would do some stuff and then they would jump. And so they wanted you to let you know that it was still within this certain time frame. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and to clarify, it all happened in the last 2 days.
Yeah. This only took place during 2 days worth of.
Yeah. And I just want to let you know that as much as Wikipedia, holder of all knowledge, is quite decent at, giving you plots. I'm going to read one sentence to you. Okay. And I want you to, I want you to interpret this, as if you hadn't seen the movie.
Okay.
In the last 2 days of 1999, Los Angeles has become a dangerous war zone.
Yeah. So it sounds more like the Los Angeles. Loose. Yeah. It sounds more like the Los Angeles of Predator than it did of Strange Days. But yeah.
But and on top of that, it makes it sound like in the last 2 days of 99, LA just all hell broke loose for some strange reason.
Right.
And now nobody's safe. But then in this movie, it's like, well, it's been happening for a long time, and apparently the cops can't contain it, and neither can the army, the military, because there was martial law. I mean, there was guys in military uniforms throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, and I'm wondering,
checkpoints.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that was just because of the New Year's Day or the build up to the New Year's Day revelry. And that was kind of a temporary thing. So they may have called out some of the National Guard to kind of help keep order, or if that was kind of endemic of stuff that happened up to this point.
Do you think it was just there, or was that everywhere?
No. And that's what I was going to get to, was they had also shown some of the stuff that had happened before with the activist Jericho 1. And, they were basically fighting a lot of the same shit that they were fighting back then and still fighting today. So, injustice, things like that. And so I'm wondering if that was just more of a play for that kind of environmental setup, or that kind of environmental setup. It was more towards the backdrop, just to kind of give you, oh my God, I'm having trouble figuring out what I want to say here. To give you background and give you the kind of the
set dressing,
set dressing of what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, I just, it didn't.
It's kind of staging the scene, I guess.
Right. And it does, honestly, I didn't think it was even necessary, because, Jericho 1, he was trying to fight injustice and all this other stuff that, frankly, it's still happening, and we still got issues. So it's not anything new. It's not like they were like, this is a new concept, right? It's not like I'm thinking of like Demolition Man, where society is perfect. There is no crime or whatever. You get a ticket for saying a dirty word,
right.
And then all of a sudden some element is brought in, and this is just crazy. No, it's like, okay, the same crap. This was made in 95, or it was released in 95. So the same crap in 95 is happening in 99. Well, yeah, no shit. You're not going to fix anything in 4 years. This is nothing new. So it the whole chaos, riot, burning cars in the middle of the street, cops everywhere, sort of stuff that they had going on, to me, was very unnecessary. It didn't have anything to do with any of the plot, in terms of the two cops that killed the rapper activist were just straight up, pissed off, dirty cops. They were bad cops. You don't have to have the end of the world for that to happen. And it's not like they were, they weren't harping on the fact that, the Y2K bug or anything like that in this movie, really. They were
right.
you had some. I don't
think the Y2K bug was that hot of an issue at this point. When this movie was made, I don't think the Y2K bug had really reared its head.
But they kind of, not the bug itself, but they did talk about it being, year 2000, new decade or new century. Everything is gonna be weird.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the people in the movie, when they were talking about the flip over to 2000, said it was going to be the end of the world. I mean,
right.
And so that kind of makes me think that that society was actually declining in a lead up to this movie, and it may have been due to the popularity of what did they call that? What was the slang that they called that? Wiring or
wired? Yeah,
wired or being wired or whatever.
Yeah.
Of playback.
Squid.
Well, the squid was the apparatus that they used. Yeah.
I
don't remember what that stood for.
Sensory something. Yeah.
Yeah. But it may have been that society was on a decline due to this playback that was happening. Everybody was kind of reliving others' experiences through the squid, or it may have just been they wanted to portray a kind of the beginnings of a dystopian society. I don't know, but yeah, there were a lot of people that expected. Even in the movie, expected, the calendar to flip over to 2000 and the world would end. So Max being one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. But it didn't happen. Spoiler. We're still here.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Or it's just taking a really long time.
Yeah, just give it some time. It'll come. 3000. You're 3000. Calendars are going to reset again then. Yeah.
So this had a fairly stacked cast even for the time. So Ray Fine had just made his bones as the Nazi officer in Schindler's List, right? Angela Bassett was already established. She had already had an Academy Award nomination at this point.
Yeah, and I want to say that even now, because she's in 911. It's a TV show. Man, she has aged well. She looks same now as she did then.
Yeah.
And she was in Black Panther
hot.
And all. Yeah. She was in Black Panther, but they made her old in Black Panther, right? They gave her gray hair and all that stuff. And so it really didn't do her justice. But like in 911 and looking at her then and then looking at her in this movie, I was like, damn, she hasn't changed.
No, she hasn't.
She's gotten older. I'm impressed.
Yeah, but she's still an amazing actress, and she still looks really good.
Still has those guns. I mean, she's got some good defined arms and everything like that, and even now she does. So I mean, it's like, man, she keeps herself in shape.
Of course, Juliette Lewis has already been established at this point. She was in Vacation by this point. She had done Cape Fear. What else had she done? What's Eating Gilbert Grape? She was in Natural Born Killers at this point. So she had already had quite the career at this point as well.
Yeah. This is a nice 90s movie when it's just gratuitous booby shots. Yeah. I mean,
there were a lot of boobs. A lot of Juliette Lewis's boobs.
A whole lot of Juliette Lewis boobs. And I don't think we would have that now like we did then.
No,
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either.
It's just because things have changed. There isn't necessarily gratuitous topless shots or whatever that I have noticed in current type.
Well, would
of
you
movies.
would you call any of the shots in this movie gratuitous?
Well, me personally, no. Every topless shot is well worth it and always needed.
Yeah, essential to the story, right?
To the story, yes. I mean, now there might be some others out there that would say, the fact that she was wearing a sequin dress with her nipples sticking out of between the sequins would be completely unnecessary. But I would not be one of those that would say something like that. And some would say taking the sequin dress off of your shoulders and draping it around your waist as you rinsed yourself off in the sink and felt up on your boobaloobies.
And don't forget she lotioned them up too. Yeah.
And then you turned around and lotioned them up for everyone to see in that entire room would be completely unnecessary, but it wasn't. Some would say that the two lesbian lovers that were taping themselves and getting good boob shots would be completely unnecessary for the movie, but I wouldn't say it. It was essential.
Essential.
Wouldn't
be the same movie without it, right?
It would not be. Some would even say that the shot of the rape scene and ripping the shirt open was unnecessary and probably went just a tad bit too far. I would say no. The scene itself, maybe a little bit, but you could have stopped at ripping the shirt, and we would have figured out what was happening.
Okay. Yeah. So, with
some would say that we would be a little upset that we did not get to see Angela Bassett show a little bit of skin. We did see quite a bit of thigh, though, from that dress that she wore at the end. But I thought it was done tastefully.
Yeah, so I think not only the outfits.
Some would say that I've probably done this a little bit too long, and I should probably let you keep going. But I wouldn't. I would continue on.
So the outfits that Faith wore, and the way that she casually, displayed her nudity, I think that was in character for that character. I think she played it well. I think that's just who that character was. I mean, he stated that she started out, or that he met her as a runaway that was, giving $20 blowjobs for smack, right?
Right. Yep.
So she's probably beyond the point of caring if people are looking at her.
Yeah, she's moved up to probably like $30 blowjobs.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's inflation like right now?
I don't know what a $20 blowjob in 1995 would be in today's dollars.
Oh, I thought maybe you might know in terms of handies.
Well, but a blowjob isn't a handy, right?
That's true. That's true.
You can't compare apples and oranges.
Well, you can, but it'd be a little off.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot of sex and violence in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think any of it was really gratuitous, though. I think it all fell in line with the story. Could you have cut some of it out and still basically had the same story? Maybe. I'm trying to think of, because even that lesbian scene where you have the two girls going at it and they're recording it so that he can sell it off to clients, right?
Right.
Even that scene was kind of necessary to the plot because it showed him actually creating or having people create this material for him, and he was giving them feedback on their performance, right? Things that they could do.
Hey, next time look at the camera.
Right.
Or what was it? Or talk louder.
Move your eyes slower is basically what he was saying.
Yeah. Make love to the camera. Yeah.
Well, basically, she is the camera.
Right.
So, so he was giving them pointers after he had, viewed the material and then paid them for whatever they had done. So, I think even that wasn't necessarily gratuitous. Now, it certainly fit with the times, right? I don't think we would see something like that today. I'm not sure what we would see. I don't know that this film could get made today.
Well, I don't think so. I think it'd get. It
would definitely be a different film.
Yeah. Yeah, different technology. They could have they could adapt the story to update it, I think. They would need some sort of other medium instead of a squid, I think. Because, the squid is still...
we don't have that today.
We don't, yeah. But they would have to... It wouldn't be on laser discs.
No, it wouldn't. It would be, I'm sure that the machines would be smaller. It would be some sort of flash memory based storage device. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently to do that, squid, you are required to wear some sort of mullet wig or long-haired wig.
No, that was just a bonus.
Oh, is that okay?
Sure.
I was thinking in this thing, I was like, damn, Sizemore got himself a head of hair. I didn't know he had that.
Right. Yeah, it looked good. The wig looked good. It looked real.
It didn't look like I didn't.
Honestly, I didn't think it off his head.
Right. I didn't think it was a wig. I thought it was like. I was like,
I didn't either.
He had hair back then.
I was trying to think of some of his roles back then, and I was like, no, that's not right, because he didn't have long hair in like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, he had short hair then too, and then
I was trying to think, well, did this come out before or after Saving Private Ryan? And I couldn't remember, and I still don't remember. But even around that time, what did Sizemore do around that time?
Let's see. He has let's see. Just before that, he had Wyatt Earp.
Oh yeah, he didn't have long hair in Wyatt Earp.
Yeah. Passenger 57. Point Break. He was in Point Break. DE Agent Dietz.
That's right, he was. Yeah. But yeah, even just the year before in Natural Born Killers, he didn't have long hair. He didn't have long hair in Wyatt Earp. True
Saving
Romance.
Ryan, he didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was definitely a wig, but damn, it looked real.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
It was a good wig. It wasn't sometimes those wigs, man, you're like, yeah, that's not good. But this one you didn't even know.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this just because I thought it was weird. Rafe. There we go. Rafe.
Yeah, Rafe.
Fiennes. Fines. Whatever. With his long hair, he looked like Bradley Cooper from time to time.
He did. Yeah, you're right.
Good. It wasn't just me.
Yeah, he does, especially since it was a little bit lighter. It was kind of a dirty blonde. Yeah, he did have kind of this Bradley Cooper look about him.
He did. I was thinking, if those two stood side by side with the same sort of long hair that that Bradley Cooper's had before, and Rafe had in this one, you would think that they were related in some way.
Yeah,
because they look strangely similar.
But they're not.
Say that now. No, they're not. You couldn't say that now. Rafe's got a totally different look now. But
well, yeah, he's aged a bit.
Yeah, he has aged a bit, but man, maybe they'll remake this. Bradley Cooper in there. Angela Bassett could keep playing her character.
Yeah, she could reprise her role. Yeah, she'd just fit right in.
Yeah, a little bit of makeup and you'd young her up really easily.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she doesn't need much. Just hide a few she's got a little bit of wrinkles going on in the face, around the eyes, but shoot. Juliette Lewis, I don't know.
Juliette Lewis has aged a bit more, probably.
Yeah. She's got a little bit of. I'm looking at something from 2010, and even in 2010, she has matured quite a bit.
Yeah,
she doesn't have that young face that she did in this one. So
Michael Wincott, you recognize him from anything else?
Michael Wincott. Hold on, I don't know names. I know faces. Michael Wincott.
He played the boyfriend. He played Philo Gant.
Oh, Philo Gant. Yeah. God, what was he in? Hold on. Yeah, he's very recognizable. I can't place him in. What is a movie that I've seen him in?
So Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes. He was also in Alien Resurrection.
Yep, he was in Alien Resurrection.
I remembered him from Alien. I couldn't remember which one. Let's see. Hitchcock. Oh, no, that's a different one.
I've never seen that one.
I was thinking Hancock.
Hancock.
I was like, let's see.
He's also in The Crow.
The Crow, yeah. Three Musketeers. I remember from that one.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean he has a recognizable face, but he's one of those like kind of in the background type of deals.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever really played a leading character. He's more of a supporting role.
He was Old Bill in Westworld, apparently.
Old Bill.
I don't know who Old Bill is, but it just says Old Bill. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Who was Old Bill?
Old Bill was the old Western dude that was in storage, I believe, in the first season. Like they go down into storage to fix somebody up, and he's down. Teddy, I guess Teddy. Yeah, they were fixing Teddy up or whatever, and Old Bill was down there. He was one of the.
Oh, right. He was one of the very early prototypes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I kind of remember that now.
Yeah, you look him up. He was one of the older prototypes. First prototypes.
He still kind of looked mechanical too.
Right. Yeah, he was down in storage.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that was Michael Wincott.
I didn't either until I saw it was Old Bill. I was like, oh, that guy. Yeah. So yeah, he's kind of not he's been around, but he hasn't been around. He's not recognizable.
I mean, I recognize him every time I see him, except in Westworld, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, I recognized him. It's just I couldn't tell you what his name was, but I'm like, oh, that guy, right?
Yeah, that
Same
guy.
with you had Edgar. Edgar was in there, looking a little less dead, a little younger.
Edgar.
Yeah, Vincent.
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio.
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 Kingpin.
Yep.
In fact, that's how Kingpin started. He started as a cop.
That's right. Sure.
Yeah, in L.A. and then moved
over to New York.
Yeah. Business was bad in L.A.
Well, yeah. After you get recorded shooting a civil rights activist. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But
all right. What do you think of the soundtrack? Because this is one of the better movie soundtracks, in my opinion.
So it was good. I didn't.
This soundtrack was kicking. I had forgotten that Deep Forest was on this soundtrack.
Yeah, none of it stood out to me, which is good in terms of it wasn't. It matched with the times, right? So it was it went very well with what they were doing.
Did you ever listen to any of this music?
I'm looking at it right now.
So did you ever listen to anything like, techno, trip hop, ambient?
No, not really. Not really. Not at that time. I was only like 10.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
I was 13. But yeah.
So at 13, that would have been where you started to branch into music. No, not you.
Not really. Not that much. I listened to, I guess, what would now be, here it's 102.9, so it was mixed 102.9. So it was 80s
pop.
and 80s, 90s pop type stuff. Hell, my first CD was Ace of Base, if that tells you anything.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. And hey, I liked the Sign. The one that I didn't like as much was, All That She Wants.
God damn
another
you.
Baby.
God damn.
She's gone tomorrow.
Oh,
boy.
for fuck you.
Hey.
Oh, God damn you.
Yeah. Sleep on that little earworm tonight, buddy.
Fuck you. Yeah, I had a lot of these. I still do have a lot of these artists.
Yeah.
So I have many Lords of Acid albums, have many Deep Forest albums. Let's see, who else is on here?
Juliette Lewis did.
So Juliette Lewis actually sang one of the PJ Harvey songs, Hardly Wait. Well, she sang two of them. So there was Rid of Me and Hardly Wait. She actually did a really good job, I thought. And that's one of the reasons that they cast Juliette Lewis for the role, is because she could sing, and they didn't want lip syncing in the movie.
Yeah, okay.
So she actually sang those songs.
That's good.
I love the remake of Strange Days, or the cover of Strange Days.
Yeah. The music was good. It was not distracting in terms of not matching the setting, tone, or the genre, I guess, or whatever. It didn't go against what was happening.
Right.
So I thought it did a good job.
So how do you think this, or you may have already looked this up.
Oh,
if
this
you
did terribly.
Yeah. This did terribly at the box office. Why do you think that is?
42 million budget, 8 million at the box office. I don't know. I don't know what it was up against when it came out. I don't know what kind of marketing they had going on. I could see people getting a little bit turned off by the rape scenes, or and the voyeurism aspect, and maybe even a little bit of the racism stuff. But I don't know why it wouldn't have done as well. It's a pretty typical 90s movie. It's not like it's
I don't know that I would call it a typical 90s movie.
Well, I mean, in terms of it wasn't out there and just completely out in left field. It was a typical 90s movie in terms of just maybe not the subject matter or anything like that, but the way it was shot or portrayed.
Yeah, it wasn't like avant-garde or way out of mainstream, what would be something like Fire Walk with Me. That would be just way out of the mainstream.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. It's more of it was a mainstream. It had a mainstream feel to it.
Right.
So I'm not sure why.
The critics hated it.
Yeah, and I don't know why they hated it necessarily.
I'm not sure either.
Wasn't terrible.
This gained a cult following, and so it's actually better in the kind of review aggregates now. But
yeah, and this was Kate Bigelow or Catherine Bigelow, who's done some pretty decent stuff here recently.
Yeah, because she was kind of fucked by this movie.
Oh man, she tanked after that. I mean, so this kind of tanked her. She did Point Break. She directed Point Break prior to this, which was
she did Blue Steel too.
Blue Steel, yeah. So she did some decent stuff, and then you get to she does Strange Days, which kind of went, and you're like, okay. She didn't do anything else until 2000.
Yep. Well, she didn't direct anything else. She wrote Undertow.
Yeah, she didn't direct anything else until 2000, and then she directed K-19 Widowmaker, which strangely enough is where I got my gaming handle from. I'm telling you, I had to come up with something. I didn't even think about killing people and making them a widow type of deal. It was I had watched this particular movie and I thought, hey, that's a good handle. But she did that, Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30. Those were all real good. I mean, hell, they were Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30 Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yeah, Hurt Locker got Best Picture and Zero Dark 30 was nominated.
Yeah. So, she knew what she was doing later, so yeah, I didn't know that this was the same person until I started doing some research. I was like, wow, this isn't like anything. This isn't her style necessarily. Or at least it's not her style now.
Well, it's not it is her style. I mean, you can see some stylistic
pieces.
You can see some stylistic similarities between like Blue Steel, Point Break, and Strange Days.
Yes.
But this isn't her typical story back then. Mm-hmm. But I think that was kind of influenced by her then husband, James Cameron, who wrote the story.
Right. And Cameron just trying to give her a break or something, or keep it in the family, right?
Well, I mean, Cameron back then was more on the writing side, right?
Was he?
Yeah, I don't think
had he started. When did he start directing?
No, I guess he was directing. Well, shit. Hold
on. He directed Aliens in '86, The Abyss in '89, Terminator 2, True Lies. So he had 5, The Terminator. He had five directings prior to the release of this one.
Yeah, but he wrote all of those too.
Okay. And that was just a quick True Lies. Let me look at True Lies, Terminator, The Abyss, Aliens, Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
So I wonder why he didn't direct this as well.
I don't know.
Oh fuck. He actually wrote Rambo First Blood Part 2?
Apparently. Sorry. That was terrible.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to why he didn't direct this. I mean, maybe he wanted to throw a movie Catherine's way. Or maybe she requested to direct it. Maybe she liked it that much. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts?
I mean, it's not terrible. It's not. I'm not going to pick it up again, but it wasn't terrible.
You're not going to pick it up again, so you wouldn't watch it again. Didn't have enough boobs for you.
Yeah, I was going to say if for some strange reason my hard drive crashed, I might pick it up again. But yeah, Yeah, it was. I was surprisingly okay with this movie.
All right. Well,
because I watched a trailer before watching this, and I'm like, oh god.
And that may be why people didn't go watch it.
Maybe,
because if it's the same trailer that you watched and it's not representative of the movie, because I think I remember the trailer that you're talking about, and it does not represent the movie very well. That may be why it was a fucking poor.
That may be
poor showing at the box office.
Yeah, it really didn't. You know, back then it was all about high stakes. The trailers were always in a world,
right,
where L.A. is burning.
So like today
or tomorrow, doesn't matter. Yeah. So it wasn't bad. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, this is actually one of my probably top 10 sci-fi movies.
Okay.
All right. You got a haiku for us this week.
I'm supposed to.
That doesn't mean that you do.
Oh, but I do.
Oh, well, why don't you lay it on us?
All right. This one is titled The End Times. Black market head trips. Y2K will fuck shit up. Show me the booby.
God.
So I was either going to title it The End Times or Booby McGuire.
Booby McGuire.
Yeah. I went with The End Times.
Yeah.
It's
a little more poetic.
And it didn't really give away the punchline.
All right. You got any awards?
Mm-hmm. I do.
All right. Who's got your head lush? Or I'm sorry, your black lung.
Black lung, I'm giving it to Faith in the VIP section there, smoking it up. Blew a nice little smoke ring at one point.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Faith's going to get mine too. She was definitely smoking more than anybody else that I saw in the movie, but everybody in that VIP area was smoking a little something. It was either a cigarette or a blunt or they were smoking something.
Yes. Yep.
All right, head lush.
I'm going to give it to Lenny for his vodka and Skinamax.
Yeah. That's who's getting mine for the same fucking reason.
Yeah.
All right.
It was cheap vodka too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Player.
This one's going to go to Faith because she dropped Lenny like a bad habit, but he keeps coming on back.
Okay.
You know, so she's got a hold on him. I had two ways to go, but I went with Faith on this one.
Yeah. So mine's going to go to Lenny.
Okay.
Because through just, I guess he was definitely some sort of crooked cop because he got marched out of the police department. And he was on the vice squad. So something happened. He got shit canned, but he apparently touched a few lives while he was a cop. He was probably one of those kind of, doing shit on the side that he probably shouldn't have, but still kind of nice to people.
Right.
Type corrupted cops. Because Mace was definitely in love with him, and you could tell that pretty early on in the movie.
Yes,
when she was putting up with his shit and still coming back for more. And then you kind of get a flashback scene of him interacting with her kid during the raid where they took away her boyfriend. So
right,
yeah,
that was going to be my second choice was Lenny because of Mace hanging around like a puppy dog.
And he seems oblivious to it the entire fucking film until right at the end. In fact,
until she gets beat up.
Yeah. And in fact, he's so oblivious. He asks her, have you ever been in love with somebody who didn't love you back? And she looks him straight in the eye and goes, yeah, I have.
Dumbass.
You fucking moron.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Who gets your purple hippo?
So it was a tie, but it's going to go to Philo Gantt for getting microwaved.
Okay.
It's either be him or Trick. Trick. Tick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tick.
For the same reason, getting microwaved.
So that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. I mean, it's literally mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is going to go to Mace. For the first time that she's ever done any kind of mind jacking.
Oh, yeah.
It's to watch and experience somebody that she actually looked up to getting shot in the fucking head.
Yeah. So, and then I had another one that I was thinking of, but I didn't want to condone rape. And that was Sizemore's character watching the tape of him raping the girl and reliving everything and getting off on it all over again.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up.
That was messed up, and I didn't want to congratulate him for that. Now, I will congratulate the writers / directors and all that, and actually Sizemore himself for portraying that and how messed up that ends up being later on. You know, after the fact, when you start thinking about this, you're like, dude just watched himself getting off and killing somebody and was obviously aroused by it when he watched it the first time.
Yeah.
Or
so,
the next time.
Question.
Uh-huh.
Did you figure out that it was Max that was doing those killings?
I did not. I was thinking it was Philo up until you found him microwaved.
Right.
I was thinking it was Philo. I didn't think it was some other ancillary character or anything like that. I didn't think it was one of the cops or anything.
Because they gave you a major clue to it early in the movie.
How's that?
Well, so if you'll remember the first time that we see Max, he's talking to Lenny in the bar, and he's talking about how he's on a police pension because somebody put a .22 caliber bullet in the back of his skull, right?
Okay.
And then later on, whenever Lenny takes the first tape over to Tick to get it analyzed, and Tick says there's something wrong with this dude's brain because the color saturation is off. So he's either got some brain damage or a tumor or something.
Or is colorblind. Right.
That's when you put 2 and 2 together and go, oh, okay, so maybe this is Max.
Yeah, I had a hard time following it at the beginning.
There's a lot of fucking information.
Well, that, and there was a lot of background noise in that first bar scene. That kind of made it hard to follow what exactly. Like, I got the gist of it. I just didn't catch the particular, the fine details as far as what they were saying.
Right.
I was still trying to wrap my head around the squid thing and all that other stuff. I was like, maybe I'd pick it up on the second time around, but some of that stuff just whoosh. And I guess it's supposed to be an offhanded comment,
Right.
So.
All right. Well, I guess it's time. Wait. No.
Yeah, we need to pick.
Well, I tell you what. I pick Picard season 3.
No, I pick Picard season 3, 2 episodes at a time.
All right, let's do that.
Perfect.
All right, starting next episode, we are going to be reviewing Picard season 3. We're going to be doing it 2 episodes at a time because we release every other week. And it
makes it nice and pretty.
Yeah. And so it makes it nice and pretty. And so next episode, we will be reviewing Picard season 3, episodes 1 and 2, where Picard gets the band back together and they go on a world tour.
Mm-hmm. It is Picard season 3, the high school reunion.
All right. Well, that's got it for this episode. Our intro and outro music is Welcome Home by Cambo. Podcrawl music is Snack Mix by Machette. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. You can leave us feedback on our Discord channel at smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Discord, on Twitter at @status_podcast, or you can email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com. If you'd like to throw a few nickels our way, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Patreon. For this week, I'm Jason.
I wish I was. I don't know. Juliet, call me.
She's not going to call you.
That's true. That's true.
All right. We'll talk to you next episode.